What's good everyone, it's your boy yadiiiigg, 4 eyes, 2 J's here, and today we're here with a bit of a different video. Now, as you can see on the screen right here, I've got an article up that's done on Vice, and this article is actually done by myself. If you guys aren't aware, some of you guys may know, I'm doing an internship for Vice at the moment. Most of my work for them is kind of behind the scenes, kind of researching stories, interviewing sources, etc, etc. That's about 90% of my work, but for this right here, I pitched my editor, Julian. Shout out to Julian for helping me out with this article, like the idea behind this article and kind of the concept behind it, and he was with it. So I want to say off the bat, now I understand the optics of me, yadiiiigg, interviewing a leaker, and it could be seen as me endorsing the leaking culture, promoting the leaking culture, giving a platform to the leaking culture. That is not my intention with this article at all. As you guys know, if you followed my channel or if you followed me, I'm not like a leaker. I'm not deep inside the leaking community or anything like that. In this case here, in my professional capacity as Dylan, my real name, I'm a journalist. And in this case, I was interested in the leaking scene, so I found a source to interview about the leaking scene and his views and his points and kind of his truth expressed in this article right here. Respect to him and shout out to him for letting me do this interview with him, but I can respectfully say I don't agree with everything. But again, it's not about what I think, it's not about my perspective. In this case, I was simply a journalist interviewing a source about something I'm interested in. So yeah, don't take this as me like endorsing or anything like that. But anyways, I want to get onto this. I just felt like that was important to clear up, because in this case I understand kind of like the dichotomy between yadiiiigg the YouTuber and Dylan the journalist in this case, I guess. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get into it. It's super interesting. Let's go.
Up to find that boy, yeah. He move now, he can hit with the gang. I know he gon' change. Whipping that Rari, my gang here, whipping that ring. That red by ring, we ain't swing no lanes. Yo, bitch, she chase my hoe, she swing that lane. Try forward with a bit with no bang. Left my shop all day off this drain. On to hoes my day right now. Yo, bitch out here throwing a fit. Count this money all day, baby.
Okay, so let's not waste any more time. Let's just dig right in. Meet the 17-year-old leaking music from some of the world's biggest rappers. Back in the year 2000, when Metallica took Napster to court, the concept of music piracy was very much in the public eye. Now, if you guys don't know, Metallica, of course, are a very well-known rock band. And if you guys don't know, also, Napster was kind of like this program that we used very early on. As you can see, it was around 2000 that this happened. And it was kind of like a file sharing program, and one of the first of its kind, where pirated files could kind of be shared and downloaded. And in fact, this was like a landmark case for the industry. As you can see right here, Napster hijacked our music without asking, said someone who was a part of Metallica. They never sought our permission. Our catalog of music simply became available for free downloads on the Napster system. So this kind of predates the whole era we're in now, where you can kind of find leaks on different websites kind of uploaded. Napster was like a very popular program where people used to get leaks. So obviously it kind of was shunned by the industry and shunned by artists, etc, etc. And as you can see right here, it actually eventually ended up getting shut down. I'm not going to read through this whole article because for the purpose of this video, I don't think it's all necessary to mention, but I will link the article in the description if you want to give everything a read, and I do recommend it. On communal leaking hubs like the Rap Leak subreddit or Leak This, you can find a demographic of predominantly white male teens sharing and debating the latest unauthorized releases found on YouTube and SoundCloud. These are people who love the thrill of hunting down new music and compiling spreadsheets that painstakingly track every unreleased song in an artist's discography. Now, if you guys don't know what the subreddit or Leak This is, these are essentially places where you can go to find leaks and find downloads. As you can see right here, there are literally leaks every single day that get put up on this subreddit, and people discuss them. You can see Kanye West, Meek Mill, Gunner, etc, etc. And then Leak This is a forum where basically the exact same thing happens. However, this is really kind of like the epicenter, I would say, of kind of like the leaking culture. This is where a lot of leak discussion happens. This is where a lot of leaks kind of end up, and you can find all sorts of information. So yeah, if you're ever interested in kind of discussing leaks and getting more information, I would recommend going over here. Now, the last point to mention is this right here, and this is actually stems from Leak This, and this is the trackers that basically happens for every major artist that these leakers or these people involved in the leaking scene kind of make. And as you can see, they literally track every single song that that artist is basically known to have or known to make, and they track the progress of the song. So for example, with Playboi Carti, you guys would know a very popular leak, Pop Bottles. This song was recorded in July 2018, taken from its leak on March 22nd, and then it says, has it leaked? What are the snippets? And the links to the leak as well. So yeah, super interesting to think about, like people go to this much effort to kind of document everything. And as you can see, like this is no small task. This would take like hours to do from the ground up, but it's continually being worked on. So that's super interesting. But how did these songs get from an artist's private server or email onto a platform like YouTube? Wow, good question. I wonder. Let's dig in. To find out, Vice News reached out to a notorious figure in the leaking community, a 17-year-old who goes by the handle Propkis22. He told us over the phone how he makes thousands of dollars selling unreleased music. Hey, so let's start with how songs leak. What can he tell us about that? There's actually so many different ways songs leak. If you find people that sell you unreleased music, they're called sources, and that's someone who brings you a song that's never been before into the community. Just as an example, I know a few people in this artist camp, so I offered them a few $100s to buy songs that they have, because artists send out music to their friends like it's nothing. And then from here, what will happen is, like, say I contact friend X and say, hey, what songs do you have? They say I have this, and this, and I want 500. I send them 500, and assuming it's not a scam, they should send the music back and the unreleased music. Now, as you can see right here, Propkis actually shared this screenshot with me, which I presume is with a friend or someone involved in the industry or involved with the artist, and they kind of sent him multiple leaks, presumably after he sent them money. So yeah, as you can see right here, you're gonna give up now, send them here. He sends them songs, these never released. No, they've never been out. So yeah, these are unreleased, like, files and unreleased music being directly shared with Propkis right here. Now, also in addition to this, I have my own experience with this right here. I'm not going to say what artists or what songs, because I'm not trying to flex. This is just the truth, and I think it adds to context to this right here. I've got multiple unreleased songs from very popular artists that you guys would have all heard of, and it's not like I hacked to get these songs or anything. These songs are either sent to me directly by artists themselves, or I was friends with friends of an artist, or friends of friends or friends with an artist, and that friend kind of sent me their music under the guise that I wouldn't leak it. Of course, if somebody tells me not to leak something, I would never leak it. I haven't leaked or anything like that. I'm not really involved deep within the culture like that. But yeah, I know this happens for a fact because I have first-hand experience with it. As I said, artists have given me songs, and then friends of artists have also sent me songs that still to this day have not been released. So yeah, anyway, I think some music also comes from labels, because I see people selling songs that are about to come out in a week's time. If a song is going to drop in a week, who else would have that other than someone in a label? If that was safe from the leaking community for months and months, and it only surfaced a week before it dropped, who else would it be? Now, this is a very good point, and something that's kind of brought up a lot. You know, we often see maybe a day or two before an album's due to release that the songs leak, and some people speculate that it's in fact people within the industry or within the label or something like that who are kind of taking advantage of the fact that the song's basically going to come out in a couple days. So if they have access to it and they're willing to take the risk of selling the songs themselves, why not make a cool extra $100, $200, $300, whatever amount of money you can make off that leak if you're willing to take that risk? Again, he hasn't 100% confirmed that this has happened. I want to say that, but he has definitely speculated and kind of intimated this has happened right here. And it does make logical sense when you think about it, because, you know, money's money at the end of the day. Now, this is really key right here. Yeah, you can also get a lot of music through hacking emails. You get into the email account, filtered through emails that have attachments, and then you find songs because they all send songs via email. That's how I get most of the songs. Now, what this doesn't mention is the fact that Propkis actually shared me his screen when we were talking about this at this time. And let me just say this, he was in an email of a very well-known artist, and he basically showed me him just getting unreleased music. So yeah, I've seen it with my own eyes, him kind of looking through these emails for leaked songs or unreleased music. And this is actually something he shared from when he hacked Uno the Activist, and as you can see right here, it's Uno the Activist email, and he's kind of sent around, or he's been sent unreleased music. And before we continue on with the video, guys, as always, I want to give a couple quick shout outs from the Instagram. Big shout outs to Source Godem, and also shout outs to Adi_Aurora for following me over on my IG. Much appreciated, you two. If you guys don't follow your boy, man, yadiiiigg, make sure to go follow your boy right now. Always much appreciated, but let's get back to it. Okay, how much unreleased music would you say you have access to since you've been doing this? Over 1,000 songs, I'd say probably. I have a lot of music from various artists: Lil Uzi Vert, Juice WRLD, Carti, Uno, Future, Young Thug, Lil Keed, just to name some. Now, this is super interesting. How much does an average leak sell for? Of course, it depends on the artist, the hype of the song, and the production. That's kind of natural to think. For smaller underground artists like Rob Banks, etc., he says 100 to 200. Then for bigger artists like Sway Lee, Lil Yachty, Offset, 300 to 500, even 600. Now, this is the kicker right here. For more hyped up artists, Young Thug, Playboi Carti, Lil Uzi Vert, etc, etc. No surprises there. $700 he says for Young Thug, and then he says Lil Uzi Vert and Playboi Carti songs go for an average of $2,000. And he goes on to say the highest priced artist right now is Juice WRLD for whatever reason. I think we can kind of imagine what reasons. Obviously he's passed away, so it's kind of like more of a hype for that music. And then he also goes on to say right here, what's the highest amount you've ever seen them go for? And he says the highest amount he himself has ever sold a song for was Shrooms by Uzi, which he got from the Workin' on Die hack he did earlier this year, and he sold that for 1.4 big ones. Yes, 1.4 big ones. Getting 1.4k bands off a leaked song is crazy. Now this is super interesting as well. In terms of general leaks, a record was broken the other day for the biggest group buy, which was a yadiiiigg album from 2012, which is this album right here, which was completed at $9,000. Yes, so essentially what this means right here is a group buy is where people will usually assemble in a Discord server all together, and there'll be a target. In this case, as you can see right here, is $9,000 for this yadiiiigg album, and then people put in money together. Say there was like 10 of me and the song was worth 100. If there was 10 of me, we all put $10 in together. Then once that goal is reached, the song is released for people to enjoy and kind of do what they will with. Now, the reason why this album actually went for so much, as you can see right here, $9,000, is because this album, as it says right here in this article, funnily enough from Vice, all the way back when in 2013, this album was promised back around like 2011, 2012. If you guys know anything about yadiiiigg, he's someone who's been very hyped up as an artist, and this is one of those albums that people were waiting on and people were predicting to be like one of the best albums ever type shit. So yeah, the fact that they were waiting this long for the album and the fact that it was potentially going to be leaked made like the hype so high, and kind of, as you can see right there, they were willing to pay $9,000 for it, or they were willing to like group buy and put their money together for $9,000. Okay, this is super interesting as well. Also, the other day I saw an incomplete Juice WRLD group buy for the song Rental, which was set at 15 big ones, $15,000 for one song. If you guys know Rental, that was like a grail in the Juice WRLD community. Super, super, super wanted song. But it's also interesting to note the group buy didn't go ahead because when it got to about $12,000, someone just ended up leaking the song. So yeah, that's super interesting. And when this happened, as you can see right here, the group buy was cancelled and everybody was refunded. Now, how did these sales generally happen? I just explained that right there. Group buys in Discord, and he goes on to say a few other things. Now this is an example of a group buy kind of situation going down, or like a group buy pending. As you can see right here, there's a group buy going on for a XXX and Tory song called Fortnite that's total at $2,000. So that would kind of be the group buy amount, and once that amount is reached, the song is kind of handed out to the people who bought in. Okay, now this is super interesting right here. You're pretty infamous for this. And he is infamous for this. He's very well known for this. We've seen you, who is probably hack high-profile artists' social media accounts numerous times. I'm going to skip ahead here. As you can see right here, he basically just admits to hacking people like Joey Badass, Zilla Kami, Working on Dying, Horsehead, Motor Beats, Jetson Made, etc. So he has hacked all of these people's social media accounts. As you can see right here, he gets a lot of stuff from it. So I asked him right here, when you hack those accounts, is it just for fun or to get information? Now I want to say, this is their social media accounts, not their emails, which we discussed they get a lot of music from earlier. Both actually, you can get a bunch of information from social media accounts. When I hacked Uno the Activist, man, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I feel bad for Uno, bro. Propicus, just ease up off my mans, bro. If you don't know, Propicus has hacked Uno multiple times now, and he's kind of like a source of a lot of Uno leaks. So yeah, anyways, I get like 600 contacts for people like Sway Lee, Trippy Red, etc, etc. Posting on social media is just for the laughs because it's fun to see everybody's reaction, but pretty much every time I've hacked a rapper, I found out so many leads to other rappers. So he kind of says right here, through hacking one rapper, he finds information about another rapper to kind of spur on the hack of that rapper, and then it kind of continues on and so forth. Okay, let's skip the next couple questions, not super relevant for this video. As I said, link to this full article will be in the description. I recommend giving it a read, but this is kind of like the next point I wanted to hone on and I found really interesting. Do artists or people from record labels ever contact you? And he says he has a lot of contacts from artists. Usually the general response, which I thought was interesting, is they don't actually care about who has the music, just as long as it doesn't leak. Because at this point, if they're contacting the leaker, they know the leaker has the music. They just don't want that music to fall out of the leaker's hands and into the public's. So that's a fair point. And then he also says this, I've never had a conversation with anybody from a label, but I've had a few big threats. It seems that the labels get more mad than the artists. I got an email from a label the other day saying, we are going to sue you, in all caps. It's funny, man. And in response to this, I basically just said, look, do you take these threats seriously? And he said, look, it's whatever. I'm still young. I'm 17. I don't really take this seriously, but he also goes on to say, I've gotten in legal trouble for computer related actions before, so I don't recommend people getting involved because eventually you get caught. And he also says, I've seen a lot of my online friends go to jail. Now, this is super important to mention. If anyone out there wants to get involved in leaks, etc., there can definitely be resulting actions, legal actions, etc., as a result from this. And as someone who's in the culture, as you can see right there, he says, don't get involved. I don't recommend it because eventually you'll get caught, and he's seen a lot of his friends go to jail. So I think that's kind of like a cautionary end and something that makes logical sense, because at the end of the day, what you guys might forget sometimes in the situation that ultimately pirating unreleased music, downloading unreleased music, etc., it's definitely an illegal act, although it's something that we've kind of come to accept as a daily part of our lives, if you will, as people who are invested into music and are kind of into the culture as much as we are. Presumably, if you're watching this video, we kind of come to accept that maybe as like a normal thing, but at the end of the day, it is illegal. And especially for someone who's actually doing the leaking themselves, hacking emails, etc., that just kind of takes it up a notch. And yeah, we've seen people get caught up in the past, and as you can see right here, he recommends not getting into it. So yeah, as you can see right here, pretty interesting article overall. Again, I wrote this piece right here with help from my editor, Julian. Thank you very much again. And yeah, I'm doing an internship for Vice, so I thought I'd share it because I thought it was really relevant, and I thought it hit a lot of key, crucial information, and I thought it was super interesting. So I just wanted to share with you guys. If you guys like this video, man, make sure to drop a comment down below. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications if you haven't. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram if you don't, at yadiiiigg, and more videos of mine on screen right now. Make sure to check them out if you haven't.